Jaya Radha Madhavam Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhavam Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Giridharadhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Giridharadhari Yashodanandana Vraja Jana Ranjana Yashodanandana Vraja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tiram Vanachahari Yamuna Tiram Vanachahari Jaya Radha Madhavam Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhavam Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Giridharadhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Giridharadhari Yashodanandana Vraja Jana Ranjana Yashodanandana Vraja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tiram Vanachahari Yamuna Tiram Vanachahari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare So we begin with reading of Srila Prabhupada's Pastimes from his Transcendental diary, written by his personal servant Hari Shauridas. Dr. Knoiper asked if not eating meat was part of the teaching of the Bhagavad Gita. Prabhupada answered yes, but modified his reply. Meat eating is third-class man's eating. It's not denied. Ametya. But to give us our life, don't kill cows because it gives you milk, very substantial food. If you want to eat meat, You can eat the hogs and dogs, but don't kill the cows. Krishi Gorakshya Vanijyam, Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita 18:44. This is special. It's not forbidding meat eating, but don't eat cow's flesh. That is loss. It is a great loss to the human society. You don't understand English? Understand? Because we have Russian. Okay. That is loss. It is a great loss to the human society. If they do not have sufficient milk production, then their brain will be dull. They will not be able to understand subtle things. Therefore, it is better to avoid it. But if you cannot avoid, you can eat some inferior, useless animals, but don't touch the cows. This is Bhagavad Gita. Krishna says Go Rakshya. He never says pig Rakshya. You can eat pig, you can eat the goats, the lambs. There are so many small, useless animals. They are eating dogs also. The Chinese people, they eat dogs. So you can eat dogs, hogs, so many other animals, but don't touch the cows. This is God's instruction. And they are advertising that. These Hindus, they are so full, they are worshipping an animal, a cow. They do not know what is the economic value of this cow. In the beginning of your life, you want milk immediately in the morning, and you are killing the mother. You are civilized. Do you think you take milk? Instead of killing, you prepare so many nice things from milk, which is good for brain, good for intelligence. But they do not know because uncivilized, foolish, fourth-class men. So we are trying to bring them to become first-class men, and they are accusing of brainwash. It is folly to be wise where ignorance is bliss. We are teaching that these boys, they are becoming first class. Anyone will worship them. How nice they look, how behavior, how their character. We are creating this. And they are accusing, oh, they are kidnapping our children. So this is our position. I finish here because this part of this diary, it's very much fitting for today's lecture, because today's lecture is a low-class persons, asuras, who have fallen from their right spiritual identification. And here we see what Prabhupada. So I will count now. How many times he says, "Don't touch cows"? 1. Don't touch cows. Don't touch cows the second time. Don't touch cows the third time. So approximately 3 or 4 times Srila Prabhupada proclaims very categorically, don't touch cows. And he says that the people who are certainly low-class people, but even they shouldn't touch cows, they can eat some other meat. Yes, hogs, dogs, I don't know what, pigs, or something what is useless, what can be used. And he's speaking very often about this cow milk production, how many products we can cook from cow's milk, and we can be self-sufficient. We can have everything we need for eating, yes, to feed our brains, to give our brains subtle food. Subtle food makes us more subtle, and milk products, that is fine food, that is delicate food, that is what we need for developing our spiritual intelligence. That's why there is such a difference even in the street when the people are coming. You can see the vegetarians or vegans, they are looking absolutely different. Yeah, I can see, oh, vegetarian, oh, I'm also vegetarian. He's so glad, or she, to say I'm also vegetarian, because these people have already, simply because of health, it's okay, understood the difference between eating meat and not eating meat. Yes, about vegan, that is the other story. About milk, I don't want to speak it to speak about it now, but milk and cows, that is what makes happy and makes and helps to understand the scriptures. So that's why Srila Prabhupada is stressing so often about it. So if you want to say something about what I have read, please, maybe someone can say.
What you said, you have made saw a difference between vegans and vegetarians?
No, the vegans and vegetarians in the street, they are just they look different already compared to the people who are eating meat.
But normally the vegans then, if they don't eat milk products, they still have no...
That's a big topic. That's a big topic, yes. I don't think they will, yes. I think milk is necessary. That's what I can say, because our Maharajas, most of them, they take milk. Srila Prabhupada was taking milk. That is our Acharya, founder Acharya ISKCON. He's our example. That's why milk, I think, should be. Following Srila Prabhupada, we take milk, not only reading his books, and not only distributing books, and not only to do some other things, but we follow him in all aspects. He takes milk, we take milk. That's what I can say. That's what I can say to this. Yes, and vegans, sometimes that is very exaggerated. It's too much. Too much means passionate. It should be passionate. It should be sattvic. Hare Krishna.
Prabhupada, да, он говорил, что Prabhupada told that, что мы не веганы, that we are not vegans. Он очень хотел, чтобы мы кушали прасад и угощали прасад. He wanted us to take prasadam and to distribute prasadam. Аскетизм это важно, но это не цель. It's not our goal to have this kind of austerity. Цель это служить преданным. The purpose is to serve to devotees. Духовному учителю, Шри Прабхупаде, Кришне. Guru, to Shri Prabhupada, to Krishna. И развивать отношения лотосные, любовные отношения между преданными. To develop lovely relationships among us. Иногда ограничения в пище делают чуть-чуть сердце жестоким. Sometimes these
limited restrictions
in eating and in not taking milk, it makes our hearts more hard. Ну, перебор еды тоже не надо. Of course, too much prasadam is also not good. Хотя прасада много не бывает.
You want to say something? Prabhuji? Okay. So then, with your allowance, I go on.
We have such a civilization when this killing of cows is maintained everyday action. A lot of people consider that it's absolutely okay. You know, every day they're killing so many animals, especially cows, and they think that it's absolutely normal. So these books, these ideas, they are so crucial, so important. We have to do so much work to...
We have to stop it. Yeah. We have to stop it. Yes, with the time.
It's such a big sin.
Because that is very cruel. That is cruelty. And we are propagating ahimsa, non-violence. Some people who are eating meat, they're propagating yogis, propagating ahimsa, eat meat as hot dogs, eat as propagating ahimsa. That is nonsense.
Very nice people.
Yeah. That is there is so much nonsense. That's why Srila Prabhupada wanted to purify us, to purify our consciousness from all the aspects. And don't kill cows. That is also the aspect. So to be vegetarian and to take milk and to use milk. Milk is usable. Cow is not useless animal, but a very useful animal. Yes.
Even big leaders, so-called spiritual leaders, for instance, that Dalai Lama or so, and they proclaim, this session to be a nice person, to be so kind, and this and that, and he's a big meat eater.
Dalai Lama is not vegetarian, he eats meat, yes.
And they think that it's okay for spiritual people to be like this.
It is corruption from the religion. doesn't matter what kind of religion it is, they are doing career. That is corrupted, because they are behaving, they are living one way and speaking the other way, showing themselves like a holy persons.
У нас в Украине очень сильный брахмачари. Our brahmacharis are very strong. И они распространяют очень сильно вот такими стопками книги. And they are distributing books like за один марафон Шрила Прабхупады. During one marathon of Srila Prabhupada, только одна область, one region can 15 тысяч книг. 15,000. А мы грехастки. Только можем так косвенно проповедовать. We can preach not so directly. То есть, например, я и Кадыши взяла там, да, проповедь Кадыши. Не на улице, в соцсетях. In social medias, I am trying. Grihastas try to you. Да, я лично. This Mataji is talking about Kadashi. Очень аккуратно, просто trying to be not very heavy in preaching. Кришна очень дорожит отношениями со своими будущими преданными. Because I know that Krishna is appreciating relationships with the future devotees. Не поубивать их проповедью. I don't want to kill them with my preaching. Вот я через там молоко, там Кадыши. Польза молока. Да, польза. And preaching about the value of taking milk and other products. Очищение сердца, такие темы. About cleaning the heart and something topics like this. И в течение 2 лет, and during 2 years, мое почти окружение, all my surrounding, отказались от мяса. They stopped eating. Пришли в храмы. И я ни слова не говорила Кришне. But I didn't tell them anything about Они сами спрашивали, откуда ты берешь такую информацию? How do you know this information? Писали мне в личные. And they were writing to me in private messages. И те, кто писал, and those who were writing, я отправляла им книги Шрилы Прабхупады. I sent them books of Srila Prabhupada by post. И они были очень счастливы. And they were really happy. То есть я это делала как-то так по чуть-чуть. So I was doing it step by step. С другой стороны, on the other side. Hare Krishna.
From Asuras you have made Suras. Yes? From Asuras, demos. Yeah, Asuras you have made Suras. Yes? Only because of they have refused eating meat. It's already a step.
Сначала это было 5 лайков. From the beginning it was 5 appreciations. Потом 15, then 15, потом 35, then 35, потом 250, then 250. Ну вот я потом прервала, потому что сюда приехала. Then I stopped doing that because you know. Но я не буду останавливаться. But I will continue in future. Hare Krishna.
Nice. You want to say something? About cows.
По-русски лучше сказать. В этой оригинальности. Шрила Прабхупада говорит в своих комментариях, что молоко – это продукт любви.
Srila Prabhupada mentioned in his commentaries that milk is a product of love.
Если мы не будем пить молоко, то мы не сможем обрести любовь к Кришне.
If we don't take milk, then we wouldn't be able to attain the love of Krishna.
Как происходит, как мать, допустим, кормящая ребенка, вдруг у нее молоко появляется?
So how does it happen that mother is having milk to her child?
Потому что она любит своего ребенка, хочет его покормить, и ее кровь превращается в молоко.
And her blood is transforming into milk, so it's because of love.
А если злоба в сердце, то из крови получается яд. Это будет змеиный.
If there is hatred in the heart, then out of blood it will come some poison.
Snake poison.
Snake poison, yes.
Поэтому без молока нам, к сожалению, невозможно. Хотя сейчас, конечно, качество страдает, но
it's impossible without taking milk to attain this kind of development.
Guru Maharaj, Bhakti Bhushan Maharaj, very often he is speaking about the farm in Peru, yes, where there are cows and a cow was giving milk without without having a cough. Yeah, and not only there are many examples of this. Yeah, because she was taken care of with love at this farm. Yeah, and that was just like a kind of reciprocation. You give me life, I give you milk. Okay. So now we go to Srimad Bhagavatam. So Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 5, 6 part, and the text 11. 5, 6, 11. The text is written in such a rhyme, it's difficult to read it. I was trying to find some example how to read this verse correctly. I couldn't find it, that's why I read as I can. Text 11. Here it is written in two lines even, not only this. Like here. Techa hervak tanaya nijaloka yatrayantha paramparaya shvastas tamasyanthe svayam eva prapatishyantim. Nog eenmaal. Techa hervak tanaya nijaloka yatrayantha paramparaya shvastas tamasyanthe svayam eva prapatishyantim. So now wordly translation. Te, those people not following the Vedic principles. Cha, and he, certainly. Arvaktanaya, deviating from the eternal principles of Vedic religion. Nijaloka yatraya, by practice arrived at by their own mental concoction. Antha paramparaya, by disciplic succession of blind, ignorant people. Ashvastaha, being encouraged. Tamasi, into the darkness of ignorance. Anthe, blindness. Swayam eva, themselves. Prapatishyanti, will fall down. Now the text translation is made by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Low-class people, due to their gross ignorance, introduce a system of religion that deviates from the Vedic principles. Following their own mental concoctions, they automatically fall down into the darkness, into the darkest regions of existence. There is no puppet here, that's why we read what is here and then.
What about this падение асуров описывается в Бхагавад-гите 16:16?
I'm sorry.
У меня здесь написано, что есть комментарий в одно предложение, что падение асуров описывается в Бхагавад-гите 16:16.
Yeah, that is here. In this connection, one may see Bhagavad Gita chapter 16, where there is a description of the downfall of the asuras, 16:16 and 16:23. So again, the text. Low-class people, due to their gross ignorance, introduce a system of religion that deviates from the Vedic principles. Following their own mental concoctions, they automatically fall down into the darkest region of existence. Om Ajnana-timirandasya Om Ajnana-timirandasya Jana Jana Janan Omagyanat Mirandasya Janan Jana Shalakayam Chakshuram Militam Yana Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. I was born in the darkness of existence, and my spiritual master has opened my eyes with a torch, with the light of knowledge. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhara, Shri Vasadi, Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So this text somehow fits to what we have read now from the spiritual diary. That was also about the low-class people who are eating meat and kill the cows. The system of religion, that is all what we are propagating, what we are learning, what was translated, that is a system, the religious system. And the scriptures, they teach us how not to deviate, how not to deviate of the principles of religion, the principles of the religious system. That is the principle of Varnashrama, we all know. That is the principle of spiritual life, of developing the spiritual principles. I will not be speaking about this now because there is something different here. And that is about Varnashrama Dharma, also about human existence, about spiritual existence, human existence. I looked yesterday in the dictionary what it means human. And it is written here, human means contrasted with animals. So contrasted, different from the animals, from the animalistic life. And Vedic system, that is the system coming from God Himself. But the people who are ignorant, asuras, who are eating meat, who are not following the Vedic principles, who are not reading, who don't want to understand, who don't want to improve their existence and don't want to come to the human, to the civilized life, they are very much, they don't believe in God, yes? They don't believe in God, they are very much in believing in their own enjoyment. And especially in this age of Kali, they don't want to know who is God, where is God, what is God's principle, and how to follow God. Because it is very important for them, for asuras, only to enjoy, only to go on doing everything for themselves, for their own enjoyment. And Charvaka Muni, was a sage, Charvaka Muni, who says that body is burned down into ashes, no meaning of talking about it, no meaning of talking about our spiritual development. Nevertheless, we die. The most important thing to have more ghee and to be happy and to live only today, to live only this day, to use this day for our enjoyment. That is Asura's philosophy. That's how Asuras are living. And Srila Prabhupada said that this is an awkward position, that is not really comfortable to live this not human life. But the people don't want to live comfortable spiritually existence. They don't want to go it. They don't want to have it. That's why they live. That is called Nastic. That is called Nastic, to live in this awkward position. The condition of this age is Manda, Sumanda, Matayo, Manda, Bhagya, Hya Upadrutaha. That is Srimad Bhagavatam 1.1.10. Yeah, that means Manda, Bhagyam, unlucky. The people are unlucky. The people are disturbed. The people are Manda, means lazy. So, Sumanda Matayo, people are misguided. That is the qualities of the Asuras. Lazy, misguided, unlucky, and disturbed. And what is more, always disturbed. They are always disturbed. They are disturbed because they are living in an awkward position. It is not comfortable. That's why they are disturbed. That's why they have a short life. And certainly they are not, that is not speaking about their self-realization or the way to come to this self-realization, because they're absolutely involved in this sense gratification or sense gratificatory diversion. That is cinemas, sports, gambling, clubs, mundane libraries, bad association, smoking, drinking, cheating, pilfering. Pilfering means stealing, and bickering. Bickering means quarreling. These are the qualities of asuras. Yes, the mundane world gives the people many possibilities not to develop their spirituality, not to believe in God, but to live this way, this demonic way of living. That's why Srila Prabhupada's aim was to make the new generation of people, the white elephant generation of people, to preach the spiritual principles of life, to preach Varnashrama, to bring the people back to their human principles of life. And he said, we call the people, please come, I give you milk, I give you good food, I give you good lectures, I give you learning, I give you books. Please only come, everything is ready, but only come and stay with us. But Asuras, they don't want to come. This preaching is what we are doing, what Srila Prabhupada wanted us to do. The preaching is to activate this human position of the people, because they are, how to say, deactivated. Being in the awkward position means not to live the active life. That's why they are lazy. That's why they are tired. Chronic illness of this generation is to be tired. The people are tired. And sense gratification doesn't help to get out of it. Srila Prabhupada was in New York, and he was working with the people who were on drugs. And he said, we don't need hospitals. Give me the people. I will make healthy people from these people who are on drugs, by preaching, by giving them milk, by singing with them, by giving them certainly Maha Mantra. And he showed us by his example that it's possible. And that is a wonder, that is a real wonder. Because the people want to stay not in the realistic state of mind. They want to get rid of their real, correct identification. To understand that we are servants of God, we are parts and particles of God, and that's why we should serve to Him. And in Kali Yuga, we all know that the process of coming to this first human consciousness, my Guru Maharaj is always saying, first to come to human consciousness, and then to come to Krishna's consciousness. And this way, Lord Chaitanya has given us this way. That is the way of chanting the holy names of the Lord. And the only way, he said, that is Harinama, 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 Kevalam, Nasteva, 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 Gatir, Atyaha. on that is, we can see this text. It comes in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adi Lila, 1721. It is not in Bhagavad Gita. It is not even in Srimad Bhagavatam. It is in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Why? Because to understand this, the people should be, our consciousness should be purified to understand what it means to have got this Maha Mantra. So that is not for the beginning, for the beginners. We are chanting all, but to understand the meaning of it, to understand the value of it, that is already advanced. The only hope, the only way of us is the way of purification of our polluted consciousness. And that can be done by the Shastras, by learning the Shastras. The knowledge. To give people the knowledge. They are absolutely ignorant. They are, how to say, swimming in this ignorance, in this dark ignorance, in this darkness. And they don't want to understand Krishna consciousness. And we should revive, that is all what Srila Prabhupada said about this. We should revive the Nitya Siddha Krishna Bhakti, this eternal position. Nitya means eternal, eternally liberated souls, because they have never been even contaminated. That's why they are eternally liberated souls. And we should bring the people back to this condition of being liberated from this hawk civilization, because that is hawk civilization, hawks and dogs civilization. And hawks, what they are eating, the hawks, they are going and taking this stool, yes, or the flies, yes, flies, this muhi, they are eating stool, yes. And what about bees? They eat honey. And Srila Prabhupada offers, please come to us, we give you halava, we give you wonderful, wonderful, pure food. Only come to get rid of the hawks and dog civilization. That's why our temple, and to develop the temples, it's very important. The people are coming here, they have the example of seeing the devotees, and they took this food, that is purified food, offered food, and vegetarian food. Because this society, this is Srila Prabhupada calls this society misleading society. Not leading society, misleading society. Apashyatam. Apashyatam means blind. Apashyatam atma tatvam. Griheshu griha methinam. That's a Srimad Bhagavatam 2.1.12. So the people are led by the blind persons. Yeah, you can imagine if you're looking for the way, for example, coming in a new city, and you ask the blind person, how can I come to, I don't know, to the shop, to some destination? And blind person says, oh, I will lead you. And he leads you where to? You will never find the place you are looking for. Yes, this is our, so to say, leaders who are leading us to this more and more, to be more and more and more in this dark. Srila Prabhupada said, our aim of life is not to get a comfortable life for a few years, because that is again Charvaka Muni. For a few years, Nastik, or for one day. To be comfortable one day, to be comfortable 1 minute, it doesn't matter. And to be comfortable for a few years, to come to take something and then get away. So that is not our aim, he said. I find it's very much important not to get a comfortable life for a few years, because we forget our real business, and our real business is, what is our real business? What is our real business? Srila Prabhupada. Yes, that is a way of self-realization. the way of self-realization. And the way of self-realization is not possible, without coming to this, firstly, human consciousness. That means 4 principles: no meat, no gambling, no gambling, no intoxication, and no illicit sex. That is very simple. It looks very primitive, but it's very, very deep. Then the people will not kill cows following this way. That excludes killing of the cows. And that is our real business, the way of self-realization, to come to human consciousness and then to propagate it, to preach this human consciousness and then Krishna consciousness. What you were doing, you were preaching human consciousness. You were bringing the people back to human consciousness, to the vegetarian consciousness of life. That is, we have an example here in Acharya. Medhinam, yes. And Srila Prabhupada says that Maya Sukhaya Baram Uthvahato Vimuthan. That is Srimad Bhagavatam 7.9.43. Prahlad Maharaj characterizing these people as not only mutha, but vimutha. That is much more worse than mutha. Vimuthan. And okay, if it's not disturbing, why Srila Prabhupada is speaking so much about this? Prahlad Maharaj was speaking about this. Why? Yeah, vimutha, but it is very important. This vimutha or the muthas, they are spoiling our human life. They are disturbing, they are very much disturbing because they are spreading ignorance all over the world, avidya. And we are, Srila Prabhupada wanted to spread vidya all over the world, not avidya. That's why they are very, Srila Prabhupada said, they are very dangerous. Because they are living according what is in the text, according to their mental concoctions. Not the spiritual principles are guiding their life, but their mental concoctions. Yes, that is different designations, upadis. So, we know upadis, for example, Srila Prabhupada is speaking very often about this. I am English, I am American, I am Russian, I am Elena, I am something this, I am something that. That is other designation, and the people believe in this designation. Who are you? I'm British, or I'm German, I am Rudolf, yes, I am living in Cologne, yes, or I am not living in Cologne, doesn't matter. Designations, empty designations, religious designations are much more dangerous, yes. I am reading only Quran, I am reading only Bible, that is often in the street, that is experience from there, yes. No, I am not allowed. I would like to. It is interesting to read their books, but I should read only Quran. I am not allowed to read the other literature. Yes, that is dangerous. That's why we are preaching, we are propagating the other the principles of human life, the principles of normal relationships between the people. Spirituality means purity, pure relationships. And Srila Prabhupada says that they are spoiling the human form of life. And when we are under the influence of these people, we also can very, very quickly, very easy, lose our aim of life. And our aim of life, Srila Prabhupada said, what is our aim of life? It is what he says. It is tapasya. Yeah, that's already nice. Krishna, love, reciprocation, but it is through tapasya. All this, what we are doing, what we are preaching, it comes through tapasya. It is not from me, certainly. It is not even from Srila Prabhupada. What Brahma saw when he came from this lotus, he saw darkness and he heard only tapa, only 2 syllables, tapa. Srila Prabhupada says, and very often, the aim of our life is tapasya. But it's not what you said, that's not this artificial renouncement, that's not this artificial asceticism. It is falki vairagya, that is not what we are doing. That is tapasya, that is to get up early in the morning, yes, to come to Mangala Arati, to eat prasadam, to read books, to go to distribute books, to cook in the temple, to make the temple clean. That is our tapasya. And if we think, if we do it consciously, like this tapasya, yes, then one day we can come to yukta vairagya. So, to give everything to Krishna, really, to give everything to this movement that Srila Prabhupada has founded for us. Tapasya. That was the first part of the text. I'm sorry, I should take the text. Just 1 minute. I'm sorry, I need the text. Just a second. 6 and 11. Yes. That was the first part of this text. Low-class people, due to their gross ignorance, introduce a system of religion that deviates from the Vedic principle. The system of religion, I read only Quran, I read only Bible. Yes, gross ignorance, that is also killing cows, that is not reading books, that is Ashura's existence, that is not following the principle, that is this principle of living only one day. And the second part of this text is following their own mental concoctions. They automatically fall down into the darkest region of the existence. And what to do to get out of this darkest region of the existence of these upadis? Sarva upadi vinir muktam tat paratvena nirmalam krishikisha krishikina sevanam bhaktir uchyate. So krishikisha krishikina to guide our senses, our actions, all our doings, to krishikina krishikisha, the senses. Then the senses are purified. And we really don't have any desires. No desires. Only the desires to serve Krishna, to serve devotees, to serve the temple. No material desires, no material concoctions, yes. And Maya gets away. Then she comes back. But sometimes she really gets away. She leaves us alone, yes, and then we are happy. And when Krishna is happy, then we are happy, our teachers are happy. And then we feel the atmosphere of the temple has changed so much. What has happened? Less desires, material desires. Less material desires. For me, desires is always material. I'm sorry, that's why. Okay. Narayani Mataji, in her lecture, it was years on the farm, she says that desires are our rat trappers, you know? Red trappers, Mashilovka?
Red.
Mashilovka, that is red trappers, that is to catch the rats, to catch the mouses, yes? That is our desires. They catch us. And it is not easy to differentiate what is what. Yes. And the Asuras, they fall down from their spiritual identification. And what is our spiritual identification? What is our spiritual identification? Yeah, the servant of the God. We are the servants of God. Yes? That is our spiritual identification. And that is the upadis. They are very, very dangerous and very disturbing for us. Srila Prabhupada says, these are the mistake of modern civilization. Person designated with a body, that is the mistake. They are called Gokhara, Saeva Gokhara, asses and cows. They are asses and cows. So they live only with the body. You see, they even love their body. They put so many tattoos on their body. They put so many jewelry on their body. Something that to decorate the body somehow, yes? To be in the body, in this body, not in the body of Krishna. That is the age of Kali. And he says that who are these people? That is not only people who are living in the street. No, that is not these people. That is much more dangerous. This is asses and cows. He calls the scientists. The scientists, the technologists, the government. These people are our leaders. Asses, not our, but I mean the people's leaders. That is cows and asses. The people are living under their guidance. So they should eat only stool then, yes? The age of Kali. And Lord Rishabhadev, he was incarnated. He was the incarnation of Godhead. And he was incarnated to deliver the people from this existence of asses and cows. Because God has no business to come for such things, Prabhupada says. God has no business to come for such things. He is Vaikuntapati. He is in Vaikuntha. That's why God sends his agents, he sends his incarnations to help the people to get out of this material civilization. And Vaikuntha, what is Vaikuntha? Vaikuntha, that is no anxiety, no fear of birth and death and old age and disease. That is Vaikuntha existence. As Srila Prabhupada, what he wanted to create the new generation of Vaikuntha men. He called his disciples Vaikuntha men. We can imagine, yes, the difference between asses and cows and Vaikuntha men, the white elephants. That's why sometimes I put white elephant on the altar. I associate it with white elephants of Srila Prabhupada. And then there is no fight. And the people are living in peace and prosperity with each other. That's why at the end of Bhagavad Gita, sorry, I have forgotten the number of the text, Srila Prabhupada says, so when there is Krishna and Arjuna, the spiritual master and the disciple who loves to be instructed by his spiritual master and follow him, there is prosperity and peace in the world. And it will be, one day it will be prosperity and peace in the world. Bhagavad Gita text 18:54 says about the, I read quickly this text, that is very important, 18:54. Because sometimes asuras are hidden asuras. We can't see hidden asuras, yes? We can't differentiate all the time. I tell from my experience later how it was. Oh, that is not Gita, I'm sorry. That is Srimad Bhagavatam. I have Bhagavad Gita. Suras, asses and cows eating stool. Oh, asuras. And then 1854. Brahmabhuta prasanatma na shochachi na kanshati samasarveshu bhuteshu mad bhaktim labhate param. One who is thus transcendently situated at once realizes the Supreme Brahman and becomes fully joyful. He never laments or desires to have anything. He is equally disposed toward every living entity. In this state, he attains pure devotion service unto me. Yes. Yeah, that is our aim. To be equal. That is Uttama Adhikari position. Srila Prabhupada was Uttama Adhikari. And that is, equal means spiritual, everybody is a spiritual soul. That's why Srila Prabhupada calls the soul spiritual soul. Yes, to underline this sama sarveshu bhuteshu. No discrimination, no designation. Again, he says that to come to this point, we should tolerate many inconveniences. Inconveniences we should take for this pata, we should take, that is para upakara, aim to give people information about Vaikuntha, to train them, that is our welfare program. Srila Prabhupada is our founder acharya, is our example. And he was saying in this book, you know this book, yes? So, he says that acharya is a transcendental professor of spiritual science. And it's very interesting, I don't know how. When I am distributing Bhagavad Gita, before I was distributing Bhagavad Gita, before reading this book, and I don't know how, I was giving the people this Gita, showing this Gita, and I said that Gita means recitation, and Bhagavan or Bhagavat, it was recited by a spiritual professor. I don't know why. Then I read this book, and I found this here, this transcendental professor of spiritual science. Yeah, that is very nice, because if we say Krishna or religion, they have so much bad experience with God, with religion. That is a disease, and our aim is to treat them from this disease, to show them the real religion. Real religion, it's a nice expression, not this fanatical religion or illusory religion, but real religion. Acharya, our spiritual masters. Srila Prabhupada also writes, personal realization does not mean that one should, out of vanity, attempt to show one's own learning by trying to surpass the previous acharya, not trying to surpass the previous acharyas. I am more clever than my spiritual master. I am more clever than the senior devotees. I know much more. He must have full confidence in the previous acharya, full confidence in the previous acharyas, and at the same time, he must realize the subject matter so nicely that he can present the matter for the particular circumstances in a suitable manner. So according to the place, time, and conditions, we are preaching. The original purpose of the text must be maintained. No obscure meaning should be skewed out of it. Yet it should be presented in an interesting manner for the understanding of the audience. This is called realization. That's what realization gives the acharya his specific means of propagating his spiritual movement. So acharya is very important, because achar means character, and prachar means preaching. Though first we train our character, brahmacharya, that is varnashram dharma, this order, and then we can preach. Then comes prachar, first achar, then prachar. And one more word about bhakti here. That is very, very impressive, that is very useful, what Srila Prabhupada says about bhakti. We are persons, and Krishna is a person. And our relationship with Krishna is always open as a voluntary agreement. That's voluntary attitude. Yes, Krishna, I shall gladly cooperate. Whatever you say, that ready willingness To obey is only possible if there is love. Forcing will not make me agree, but if there is love, oh, I shall gladly do it. That is Bhakti. That is Krishna consciousness. Cooperation is a vital principle of all healthy social relationships, and it attains its highest application in divinity. The Lord is supremely personal, therefore he is supremely social. For personhood becomes manifest only in relationships with other persons. That's what we are doing in the street. We are getting into the relationships with other persons. That's what Dara's husband and but he was a wonderful preacher. He was doing for 30 years. He was distributing books for 30 years, Mangalanandana, and he is my god brother. And he has, how to say, educated. He has created a dynasty of book distributors. Yes, and that's what he was doing, yeah, for 30 years. And he's the disciple of Bhakti-bhushan Maharaj, and he's the disciple of Srila Prabhupada. And these disciples Srila Prabhupada wanted to have. And these disciples, he wanted these disciples to preach all over the world the cult of Bhakti that comes from the 6 Goswamis who were fulfilling all the desires, all the program. They were fulfilling the program of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So that's what I wanted to say. And if you want to say something, I would be very glad to hear some comments or critique or questions. He's in my heart. It's such a pity I couldn't distribute with him. I have understood it much more later, unfortunately. I'm sorry. Comment.
Thank you a lot for the lecture. Я стала тоже после одного события немножко по-другому к преданным относиться. After one episode, I also started to treat devotees.
Could you speak a bit more loud? A bit louder.
After one episode, yeah. I also started to treat devotees in some other way. Случайно узнала о продюсере Сати. Случайно. Accidentally, I knew about Satya Prabhu. Он ученик моего Гурудева. He is disciple of my Gurudev. Я даже не знала, кто он. I even didn't know who he was. Я даже не знала, что он продюсер. I didn't know that he was a producer. Он помогает по всему миру. Сейчас? Ну, это Сатя Прабhu. And he is helping all over the world. И Сатя всегда ему благодарен, всегда всю жизнь. Satya Prabhu, да, ему всегда благодарен. Нет, этому продюсеру. And Satya Prabhu is always grateful to this producer. И я имела возможность случайно в соцсети увидеть их жизнь. Да, продюсер. And once I happened to see some part of their life of this producer in social media. У него были божества дома. He had deities at home. Они жена и сын. He had wife and a son. Он так служил своей жене. He was serving his wife so nicely. Ему даже дарили пластинку. And once пластинка.
A plate
was given to him. Оригинал записи с Apple.
Apple original
запись
of the recording.
Audio recording. Говинда. И много чего еще было. And a lot of many other things. И с того момента, когда я это изучила, and since I studied this, я сказала себе, я буду очень внимательна с преданными. I realized that I have to be more careful with devotees. конечно, есть вайшнавский этикет.
Of course, we have this Vaishnava etiquette.
Но я максимально буду внимательно не делить на мужчин, женщин. Я буду максимально наблюдать за преданными и знать, чем они дышат.
And I would like to watch all the devotees, what life do they have and what they are thinking, what they are doing, without heavy dividing into man or female or this or that.
Потому что так как он служил своей жене,
because as he was serving to his wife,
через него еще он служил и многим женщинам в мире, помогая.
Doing this, he was serving to other ladies in this way.
Когда спрашивают, как ты пришел в сознание Кришны,
When somebody asks, how did you come to Krishna consciousness?
большая часть говорит, это Сатья и Аударядхама.
Mostly people answer through Audaryadhama Prabhu or through Satya Prabhu.
Они преданные трудятся,
And they are devotees and they are working a lot.
и их информация доходит в сердце.
And that what they are preaching, this information goes deeply in the heart.
И, может быть, они говорят о косвенных когда-то
And
проповеди,
sometimes maybe they are preaching indirectly,
но их жизнь предана.
but their life is very devotional because they are devotees.
И после этого момента я сказала себе, что я буду очень внимательно смотреть.
So, and after this, I decided that I must be more careful to devotees.
Потому как столько внутри каждого преданного.
Because there's a lot of everything inside of every person, in every devotee.
Bесценные бриллианты жизненного опыта, духовного опыта.
Invaluable jewels of spiritual experience.
Талант Господа.
Talents from God.
И это очень интересно.
And it's very interesting. Так а что вы сказали, что он служил своей жене? Или что вас так поменяло?
Что я даже не знала, не знаю преданных, я не знаю преданных.
His example.
And I was asking, so, but what impressed you so much? And she said, because I didn't know about his
В таком темпе ритм жизни
у него.
у нас у всех.
Because we have such a fast way of life.
Мы иногда поздороваться
We don't have time to say hello to other devotees.
Да, поэтому хоть какую-то минимальную свою часть жизни, но уделять эти преданные.
That's why I decided to spend at least a minimum time
чем они дышат, чем они живут, какие таланты.
To know what devotees, what talents devotees have, what they are interested in, and everything like that.
Кто-то хорошо поет,
Somebody is singing very nicely.
кто-то хорошо готовит,
Somebody is cooking
для Бога.
nicely for God.
Кто-то шьет для
Somebody is
божества,
sewing nicely.
кто-то плетет гирлянды.
Somebody is making garlands.
Нужно изучать, что делает преданный.
You have to know what devotees are doing and what they are interested in.
Someone else? Something to say?
You said the goal of life is tapa.
Srila Prabhupada said.
Yeah, but the potency, the inspiration of the soul is to be always happy, seeking for happiness. And tapasya and happiness are a little contradictory. Seems to be, at least.
It seems to be.
So what do you say to that?
Shall I comment on it? I said that tapasya, our tapasya is to get up early in the morning. Our tapasya is to come to the temple. Our tapasya to do the services is that consciously. That is tapasya. Because that is not every day we have strength and we want to get up so early and come to the temple and chant our rounds. Yes, and go when it's cold to stay 6-7 hours in the street under the snow and rain. This tapasya, that is not this false tapasya. So there's not this false renouncement. I refuse everything. I go to live in a cave. Yes, yeah, we know all that. It's falki vairagya. I refuse that. Doesn't belong to me. That's why tapasya brings to being happy, and the way of tapasya is really happy if we're doing it consciously for Krishna. Oh.
I think that sometimes But sometimes tapasya it's like this sweets when Prabhupada is saying about when the person has sick jaundice. Then the person is taking this sweet and it's
Nectar of instruction, yes.
Maybe so these regular sadhana seems for us conditional souls such a big austerity, but actually it's sweet. You know, when you were, I thought about that when the devotees were teaching me how to offer food, and you know, they said, oh, so many mantras, this hand, that hand, wash water here, water there. But then I realized, actually, it must be so natural to ask God, please have this and wash this and wash that. It's natural, but when you don't know, you don't have this idea, so you are so condemned, and you just think, oh, it's so difficult to do this, and it's heavy for us to chant our job and this and that. But actually, it's happiness. It involves our happiness, so we become naturally happy.
Automatically.
What is poison in the beginning is nectar at the end.
Yeah. It's amazing how it works.
Yes.
Как лекарство, когда у тебя желтуха, сначала ешь, тебе кажется, что она как горькая, а на самом деле сладкая,
Вот это тоже, да, вот аскеза. Они поведали себя.
One senior disciple of my Guru Maharaj
Наших учеников всех, даже видео.
was collecting all the disciples of our religion.
И Свет Бхагаватам был. Мы читали.
And we were reading a book which in Russian is called Light of Bhagavatam. I don't know.
Light of Bhagavatam, very old book.
И там было так сказано, что иметь желание наслаждаться душе — это ее природа.
And there we read about that it's natural for the soul to have this desire to enjoy.
И отречься от желаний —
And we cannot refuse of this desire.
это хуже, чем желать.
It's even worse than to have this desire.
Это 18 стих,
It was verse number 18 in the commentary.
Yes.
Поэтому просто наши желания должны правильно направлены,
So
правильно желать.
our desires must be guided, directed in
And yes, we have a great possibility,
dance.
yes, to be happy and to enjoy prasad.
Просада?
Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Let's face this austerity of...
Oh yes, and that is really, yes, that's it. Tapasya. Oh, that is the greatest tapasya. That's it. Oh, Krishna.
But actually the verse is so packed, so interesting, so deep.
Oh, Krishna. That is also tapasya. Yeah.
Тихо.
Я сама уберу.
Там.